As always, thanks again for tuning in. Today I'm going to do a video on a couple new AKs I bought, as you could probably tell by the description. So I made a decision in 2016 that I'm going to buy as many firearms as I can with the new laws actually going into effect. One of these is one you will not be able to get next year because it cannot be made featureless. And let's get to the guns. I will be taking them out the box and getting a really close view of them. But real quick, the VEPR 12, obviously. And again, I'll take a way better look. Comes with just that punch and one 5-round magazine, and this one is completely stock. The VEPR 7.62x39 came with one 10-round and one 5-round, as well as a cleaning kit. I did have some modifications done to it already. And again, we'll be taking a way better look at it all. So, as you can see, some of the parts that I'll be going over. I guess I should mention it's a 2016 production VEPR, and something I've never seen someone show, maybe because it's not really that big of a deal, but the design on the back of the rubber butt pad, I think is a nice touch. Something else I thought was a really nice touch was the logo on the handguard. Normally I don't like logos on furniture or frames for like 25-year anniversary guns because I think they usually look kind of cheesy. But in my opinion, this was very tastefully done and it looks great. I did have the option to go with a VEPR that did not have the logo on the handguard, but all in all, this wood was the best looking out of the 4 that I looked at. And again, I thought the logo looked great, so it's the one I chose. There's also this other logo on the stock, and to be quite honest, I'm not sure what it means or what it signifies, but I do know that the wood looks great, the checkering looks great, and my conclusion is it's just something they're proud of, so they decided to put their logo subtly, because you really can't see it unless you take a real close look. Again, I didn't even notice it until I got home, but I think it's also, again, a nice touch. And I hate to keep using the term a nice touch, but even this piece at the bottom of the thumb hole grip, I think it's a nice touch. It looks really good, finishes it off nice. So you'll probably hear that term a couple more times at least. Hope that doesn't get annoying. There's a pretty good look at the checkering on the grip. Let's see if I can get a little bit close up and still get it to focus. There's a good look at the checkering on the handguard, and again I'll try to get a close up. Hopefully it's able to focus so you can take a real good look at it. And I will say not all of them were actually this nice. I was lucky they allowed me to pick from a few different ones, so I was able to, I guess, pick the best of the best, at least of the ones they had in stock, which I appreciated that a lot actually. Now I'm going to go over the modifications that were done, and they were done keeping 922R compliance in mind. I know some will argue that that's for importation only and you don't need to worry about that. I also know no one's also been arrested for it, let alone convicted, but I'm gonna go with believing that you should keep it 922R compliant if you do modify it to a different configuration, which I have had done. Now I will say I did have the work done at the shop I bought it from. That would be Red Skull Tactical. Jose, also known as AK-47, did the work, and he did an excellent job in my opinion, so I couldn't be happier. So let's go through those mods that he did. He removed the pin and welded threat protector and put on this USA made Tapco muzzle brake. He may or may not have had to file down the mag latch From what I've read, sometimes they do require it, sometimes they don't, in order to fit the standard AK mags. In this case, a 3 US part made Magpul AKP mag. But what I do know is that it locks up super tight, no player wiggle front, back, or side to side, so I couldn't be happier with that. He modified and installed the ALG AKT trigger, and I'll show you the modification in a second, or in a minute. I know the kit does come with an extra spring that is supposed to increase the weight of the trigger pull. I did ask him to leave it out so I can get the lightest pull possible, but after dry firing it, I might actually install it. I don't know yet though. And that spring is that guy right there. And it's pretty simple to install. While looking at it before he did any mods, I did mention how I love how the action is so smooth and doesn't get caught up anywhere. And at that point we had already discussed replacing the trigger group, so he did inform me that once we do that it would catch up, but that on his he fixed that by grinding down the new hammer to the profile of the original hammer. So I asked him if he could do that to mine, which he said sure, no problem. And I couldn't be happier because it's as smooth and doesn't get caught up or hang up anywhere. So thumbs up to AK-47 at Red Skull Tactical. Appreciate the extra work, and you can see that shiny area is where he grinded it down. And I don't know if I'm giving away a secret, but he mentioned that what he does is he puts a pin through both hammers and then takes it to the, I'm assuming, grinding wheel, and then just follows the profile of the original, and you can see where he nicked the original hammer, which is fine. It just means he got as close as possible. So again, stoked about that. Thanks again. He did have to cut that notch out of the safety. He did not, however, have to use the roll pin that comes with the ALG AKT, in case you guys are wondering. He drill tapped and Loctite bolted in a bullet guide. Red Skull Tactical did include a 1030 Magpul PMag, but I did go out and buy my first Magpul 10 round short body PMag because with the thumbhole stock I just think it looks better. If I ever do decide to take off the thumbhole stock and put on a traditional grip and stock, that'll bring my US parts count up to where I can use imported mags if I want. But until then, I'll be using the short body US made mags. And I've never really been a big fan of thumbhole stocks, but I gotta tell you, this has really grown on me. I really like it. So I have traditional configuration AKs that will fit that look and feel, and I think this one's going to stay just like this. So I've had my eye on a VEPR 12 for quite some time now, and a few years ago they were a lot more expensive, especially in California. They were a lot more expensive in general, but especially in California. And I had a Saiga 12 that I had always meant to convert that I never got around to. Ended up selling it, and this stayed in my peripheral, and recently when the prices came down some, there really is no more better bang for your buck in a box magazine fed semi-auto shotgun. And what better than an AK platform to have one in. So definitely thought this was a must-have. And for the same price, they were selling the sporterized configuration Saiga 12, and I just thought that was silly. I can't imagine anyone comparing the two and buying the Saiga 12 when with this one you get so much more. I will say I kind of prefer one thing on the Saiga 12, and that's the adjustable gas block as opposed to the self-regulating system this one has. They both share the same thread pattern, so same muzzle devices will fit. If I can get it to, that's just a thread protector, as most of you watching already know. But what this has over the Saiga 12 is far beyond that adjustable gas block. Traditional handguard, adjustable sights, Picatinny rail on the hinge dust cover, the enhanced safety. The fire control group is where it's supposed to be. The tubular stock. I usually don't like wire stocks at all. This one, since it's a little bit thicker tubing, or whatever you want to call it, it's a little more comfortable. And actually, this, when you're using the irons, if you flip it down to there, if I don't break my table in the process with this big beast, that polymer is actually kind of comfortable on your cheek, with that edge of the pad also resting on your cheek. And if you're going to use a red dot, which I eventually will, this seems to bring your cheek weld up high enough to accommodate for that. And I think, I mean, that's about it. But this already has a bunch of the stuff done to it that you would want to do to a Saiga 12, and then some. I will be modifying it, and again, I will be keeping 922R compliance in mind, which means I'll be having a US made muzzle device, US made puck, US made grip, US made trigger group, and I'll be using US made 10 round mags, because why not? Other than that, this thing's built like a tank. It really, really is. I know that term gets thrown out there a lot, but really this thing feels like a beast, and can't wait to go take it out and shoot it. I'll be doing a video on what different ammos I run and what seems to run reliably and what doesn't. So stay tuned for that in a separate video. Can't forget the last round bolt hold open. Even when you remove the mag, it stays open and does have that bolt release. So that's definitely a super nice feature that the Saiga 12 doesn't have. The VEPR 12 in factory configuration with a factory 5-round magazine is weighing in at 9 pounds and 1 3/8 ounces. So like I posted on Instagram, she's definitely a beauty and a beast. The VEPR 7.62 by 39 with the minor mods that were done to it, and a Magpul 10 round PMag is weighing in 8 pounds and 8 5/8 ounces. So she's definitely not a lightweight. No one in the VEPR family is, but with weight comes durability, at least I believe. As always, thanks for watching, stay tuned, and stay safe.